Hello, 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 everybody. How is everybody this evening? You guys, thank you for joining me. I am Caron Bailey. I am your independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and my dog is barking. Please excuse that. I am your ATX lady. You guys, come on into the craft room with me as we get to making some cards today. All right, I'm just checking on her, making sure she's all right, okay? All right, give me a minute, y'all. She doesn't normally yip like that. I'm sorry. All right, if it's not one thing, it's the other with me. I'm sorry. She just had to get down. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Hi, Linda. Awesome. Welcome from New Zealand, right? Did I get that right? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys, I have an awesome project for you guys tonight. I am working with the, let me get my seat all comfortable, the Layering Leaves stamp set today, and we are gonna have so much fun. All right, so before we get to crafting, as always, you guys, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of an update. Today, February 1st, over at Stampin' Up, you guys, it is amazing. Let me share with you what has happened. We've had two new kits drop in our portal, and the first is the Happy House Plants kit. It is available today. At the beginning of every month, Stampin' Up releases two new kits every month, and so this is one of the two. This is kind of like for making a little bit of home decor that you can use for yourself or you can give as a gift. I posted on my Facebook page the links for both of these. For these cards so that you can see them, and a video to see how they were created. So I'm excited about that. All right, let's see what else we got going on. So the first kit we had, I don't know what's going on here. All right. This is creating 6 cards and 6 tags called the Birthday Sparkle Kit. It is amazing. I am excited to grab this one and play with it. And again, if you check out my Facebook page, my group page, you will see a link, and also on the flyer is the link to reach out and grab this kit. You guys, as always, with any of our kits, excuse me, with any purchase you made in my Stampin' Up store online store, when you make a purchase in the amount of $149 or less, please use the host code. Using the host code gets you an entry into the drawing, which, by the way, I will be doing the January drawing on Saturday. Gets you an entry into the drawing to win a prize. And not only that, if you make a $50 purchase in this month, you also get to choose a free item from Celebration. How amazing is that? Who does not love free? I do. Well, these are the updates. Again, I'll share with you the host code at the end. That way, if you are wanting to shop with me, please remember to use the host code. All right, so let's get started. I have the lights dimmed a little bit just because I wanted to eliminate the glare starting. But I'm going to turn on that light if it gets to be too much. And you guys, if you are watching with me and I happen to get out of frame, please let me know. Someone mentioned that earlier today, and I did not know that I was out of frame, and I always want you to be able to see what it is that I'm working on. All right, let's turn this light on. So Layering leaves is on page, I think it was 96 of the annual catalog. Okay, I absolutely love the sentiments in this bundle. Well, it's not a bundle. I absolutely love the sentiments in this stamp set. Now, even though it was not packaged as a bundle, there is a coordinating punch. Now this punch is, I mean, it comes and it flies off the shelf. So if you are wanting to get this bundle at all, or this punch, you need to be, and I'll keep you updated. But this punch, again, it does not stay on the Stampin' Up! Shelves very long. It comes in and it's out like that. But this is amazing set. Thinking of you, hello, so happy to celebrate you, sending hugs. I mean, there's birthday, there's just hello, there's encouragement, best wishes. So this bundle, or stamp set rather, can be used for any occasion. Okay, so let's put the catalog away, and I'm going to bring in the actual stamp set for you to see. So my plan for you guys tonight is to create 3 cards. That is my plan. Now, we all know that plans, right? The best laid plans and all of that. This is a photopolymer set. And it, let me show you. So this was $1 million, Rachel Tessman's $1 million stamp set. And let me tell you, normally when I buy my stamp sets, I typically don't buy stamp sets from other demonstrators, but I absolutely love Rachel Tessman. And so I got one of her autographed stamp sets. So I was amazed. Anyway, so let's get started. We are working, like I said, well, which card we're going to create tonight, okay? We're going to go with one of them from the catalog, and the other one I saw, this is Case Night. The other one was, I think it was Jackie Bolheis. I saw her create this card. So I'm going to case her design, but I'm going to step it up a little bit in my own way. So this is a project we're going to work with tonight. So in order to create this card, in addition to the stamp set and punch, here's what I'm going to be using tonight. Okay? My ink colors, I'm going to work with Moody Mauve, Calypso Coral, and Bubble Bath. Those are the 3 colors that I'm working with. I'm also going to use, I just had it, also in the annual catalog is the Delightful Doily Hybrid Embossing Folder. Okay, this is also a beautiful embossing folder, awesome to have. We are going to be using some, I can't decide whether I want to use masking tape or Stampin' Up! Masking paper or just use regular tape. I'm going to have to decide about that. I think tape might be a little bit faster. But either way, you guys, let's get started. Alright, so for my project, I'm going to use a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. Basic white. I have this piece, this is just for scrap, and my card base is also basic white. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use let's just use the masking paper. Now the masking paper is item number 155480, and what the purpose of masking paper is, it's perfect for this technique. It is the perfect width. It's pre-scored as far as releasing the release paper. It's already pre-scored. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to mask this off. So I'm going to need a couple of sheets of cardstock. I should have cut this. Matter of fact, let me bring my trimmer in. trim, I think I'm going to do it that way. So I'm going to trim a piece that's maybe about 2 inches wide. I need 2 of them. The rest we're going to put right back in the package. Have you guys used masking paper before? Alright, and so the purpose of this, what we're going to do with this, is we're going to need these grid lines, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the grid lines, and I'm going to have, we're going to start with a 1 inch, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have an inch from the bottom, and we're going to use our grid lines to make sure that we've masked this off evenly. Alright, and I think I'm seeing the darker color is in the bottom. So I'm just going to take this, turn it around, grab my Moody Mauve, and you can choose whatever color it is you desire in this set, okay, to create this card. Okay. Again, making sure that we're lined up. And I love my blending brush, my Stampin' Up blending brushes. But I find that with these, for whatever reason, with these brushes, I tend to have a little bit more of a softer hand. And so that's why when I'm trying to apply color very lightly, I tend to move with these, and they call them eyeshadow shampoo brushes, I think, or eyelash shampoo brushes is what they're called. And do you see how it looks like it's very, very light? Okay, that's the look that I'm going for. So this piece of cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. And then the next color up from there was our next color, and I'm going to go with I'm going to go with our Bubble Bath, and here's how we're going to use this masking paper, right? The best way to remove it is take one side and gently roll it back. Gently roll it back. Now you can also de-stickify it a little bit, and in order to de-stickify it, all you do is take the sticky side, and I'm going to share with you how to just pat it against your clothing, and it'll just remove some of the tackiness from the masking tape. Okay, so if you want to do that, just kind of stick it on your clothes and take some of that stickiness from there. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to put this guy right here, and we're going to line it up again because we know this was 1 inch. All right. So we're just going to mask this guy right again. All right. Then we're going to grab the other piece. We're going to de-stickify that a little bit. Then we're going to count up another inch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to lay this right on here, like so. And then And this is just because of how I like to blend, my orientation. This is why I'm turning it this way. Okay? And I'm gonna grab another for my bubble bath. And do the same thing. Always start off paper if you can. And again, like I say, it's always easier to add more color than it is to take it away. So start very lightly, add your color, and then if you need to make it darker, go right ahead and do so. Once we're done blending our strips, we're going to emboss with our embossing folder so we can have all that gorgeous detail. I love masking as a technique. Do you mask a lot, Linda? Put this away. And do the same thing. Now we're going to remove this mask. We're going to apply it here again. And again, this is why I love having grid lines. It just helps keep me a little bit more straight. All right. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now each of these is a 1/4 inch, which is why I'm counting. So I have an inch of space in between each of my masked layers. Okay. Grab this, and now we're going to go in with our third color, which is our Calypso Coral. Now, if you're wanting a little bit of blending over your colors so you don't have such harsh lines, make sure to line up your masking paper just a hair under the line. That way you can blend right over that line and soften that line just a tad if that's what you're wanting to do. You can be okay with just having straight lines. That's not an issue, but it's all artist preference. I cut this about 2 inches just so that I would have enough room and space to stamp off some color if I needed to, as well as ensuring that I had enough so that when I was blending, if I happened to have wide strokes, I wouldn't go off and into the color. Okay. Gonna leave a little bit of space in there. Turn this over. here. Sorry. Kind of losing track of what I was doing there. I love blending as a technique and a masking, but it is not, sometimes it's not always a very quick process, depending upon what it is you're trying to achieve. It's not always a very quick process, okay? So I'm going to go back with this one. When I have that white space in between, oh, that's not even. Alright, so I'm going to mask that off. Make sure I have good spacing here. And then I'm going to go right back in with my bubble bath. So everybody ready for the weekend? I am. I got a lot going on this weekend. I got my shoebox swap going on Sunday. Shoebox swap is where I get together with some awesome crafting friends, and we each design a card, whatever that is, based upon the theme. This month our theme is musical. So anything musical is what our cards need to be all about. And we create a card. Oh, awesome. Big plans. Tell me about your plans. So we each create cards, and then we get together and we create each other's cards. Now, the designer of the cards create kits. There will be 9 of us, including ourselves. So 9 of us total. So including our own card, at the end of the day, we will have made 9 cards total, including our own. And then we have this awesome Pinterest board that we actually share our creations with each other, and they're available for you guys to take a look at as well. All right, so we are done with our masking. And of course you can save these, you don't have to get rid of them. Make this line just a little less. You want to do the emerging technique cards? Oh, that was such a fun technique the other day. My goodness. All right, so what we got to do now is we're going to grab our embossing folder, our delightful doily, and what I try to do is mostly on most of the Stampin' Up embossing folders, there's this, they did an awesome thing where they have this line. I love this line because it helps me to make sure that I'm lining up my paper, my cardstock. When you have as many issues as I do with having things straight, anytime somebody gives you a line, oh my gosh, it is the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to go grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So if I shake my screen, I do apologize. I can already tell you it's going to shake, but bear with me while the camera is moving. And in order to do this, this is a 3D embossing photo. It's a hybrid. So in order to do this, we just need our plate 1, excuse me, and our plate number 4. Okay. And just as if you're not aware, when you are embossing, you need to make sure that the side that has the fold, that is the side that you try to make sure goes through the machine first, to avoid cracking or your paper moving on the inside of the folder. Okay. All right, I think that's it for our shaking. Let's see what we have here. All right. This is absolutely beautiful, y'all. Can you see it? Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? All right. So this is this card. Let's see. Let's bring our catalog back in here. That's it. We're going to stamp one of our leaves and punch it out. And we're going to stamp that in our, let's do Moody Mauve. And I had all this scrap paper that I used yesterday that I just totally destroyed, right? Those of you that watched, not yesterday, on Tuesday, you would have seen that I couldn't remember what I was trying to do. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do, I think this one did not have the oh, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go in, you broke the spine. Yeah, that's precisely why you do it that way. So I'm going to just stamp our image in Moody Mauve. And you guys, here's a little coloring technique too. Grab your Wink of Stella pen, right? And you're just going to pull some color. And not only is it going to give you that little bit of highlight color, it's that you're pulling from the color that's already there, but you're also going to have a little bit of shine and glitz and glimmer. Now this ink dries very fast, so I wasn't fast enough, but there's a way to fix that, right? I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the color, just a little bit, and color. Yes, you can color with Wink of Stella pen. And I'm just giving it just a little bit of color with my pen. Like with any sort of blending, if you want to highlight a little bit, you just add a little bit more color towards wherever it is you want it to be a little bit darker, and then you pull the color from there. So I want the base of the leaf to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go right back in and concentrate color right there. There you go. How's that? Alright, so that part's done. And now we're just going to punch this guy out and get ready to finish this card. Let that dry for a second. Now, let's see. So happy to celebrate you. That's the sentiment that we went with. And let's see what we got going with that. Always try to make sure things dry just a little bit before. Here we go. So happy to celebrate you. I think we're ready to punch now. Alright, so you see what I did that I failed to do is I didn't pay attention to the orientation of my punch. And do you see how I stamped this? Okay, so things like that is what I need to be aware of when I am stamping. How you're going to lay out your stamps. That's typically why I generally do a punched image, so that I have an orientation that I know how to set up my cards. I didn't do that right, so now you know. I'm here to teach us tips. That's right. We're here to learn some tips and tricks. And one of the reasons why I absolutely love stamping with you guys, and I try to do everything live, is that you can see that we make mistakes. Absolutely, we make mistakes. And then when you make that mistake, I'll show you how to fix it. Where are we? So we need that to be that way. Let's see if we punched off enough. Okay, we did. All right. Now what I need to do as well with this, if you need to punch a small piece of cardstock, here's another tip for y'all today. Grab a piece of Post-it notes, or even that masking paper. Add that right on there, and you guys, here you go. Still a little short, which means I can cut this off just a little bit more. And then we're going to line this up using our, sorry, my head's in the way so I can see if it's lined up properly. And then we're just going to punch this out, just like that. Okay. That's just an awesome tip for yourself. If you happen to think, oh my God, I cut it too short, there's no such thing. Just grab a piece of Post-it note or masking tape or whatever you have, and you can go ahead and punch that out, okay? All right, so now let's grab our sentiment. I think this one might just be, it's big enough. Okay, there you go. So if you are tracking, this piece that I'm using is 1 7/8 by 3 inches. So you could use a piece of cardstock that's 2 inches by 3 inches, okay? That'll get you what you need, but I'm gonna work with that 1 7/8 inch piece by 3 inches. Now I'm gonna use the my grid line to kind of line it up here. Perfect. And I want this to kind of stay soft, so I'm gonna grab, I'm looking for my little my gray. It's like a soft gray. Oh, that might be too soft. Might be a little too soft. Alright, I'm just going to go with Moody Mauve. So I'm going to condition my stamp just a little bit. Oh, which tip did you like? Oh, the using the what is that thing called? The Post-it note? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom. Actually, I'm going to stamp it more towards the top because we do have to banner the bottom end, okay? So I'm going to stamp it more towards the top. Okay. Like so. And then I'm going to share with you how to banner your end. Now we have a punch. The pick a banner punch, love it. And if you wanted to, you really could just go ahead and stick this guy in here and do that, right? But not everybody has all these punches. I'm going to share with you a tip how to banner your image. Okay? Now, you can measure it if you'd like. I'm not going to do that. Okay? What I tend to do is I fold it in half, tip to tip, like so. And then I make sure that I cut to the corner. And there you go. Perfectly centered. That's another tip. All right, you guys, we are done. Let's go ahead and put this card together. Let's grab some baker's twine. Oh, give me a second. Let's grab some baker's twine, and then we'll finish up our first card of the evening. I think this is the longest card. So I have this piece of, well, not a piece. I don't even know where I got this twine from. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it around a couple of times. And I'm going to make sure that they cross a little bit, like they crisscross a little bit. So, bring out my trusty tape. Love tape. There's so many things everyday wise that we use that we can definitely incorporate into our crafting. That makes our lives so much easier. Who would have thought of using tape, right? Boom. And it's held down right where it needs to be. All right, so the next thing we're going to add to this is we're going to add our, that's what we're going to do. Okay? Now, the easiest way to do things to make sure that you love the tips. The easiest way to do these things to make sure that for example, so if I to right here to the back of whatever this is, okay? So I could have just gone like this and then figured it out, but then it wouldn't be right. So I'm already gonna lay it out the way I want it on here. So that's kind of how I want it to be. So I'm gonna lay it out that way. Looking for my little glue dots. Glue dots are another things that you should have handy almost at all times. And all right. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put this right here. Sorry, I'm off screen again. I'm just gonna put it right here. That way, all I need to do is orient this guy like so. Just like that. And this is done. Now we're gonna add some dimensionals. I didn't even have to take my little sticky off. Alright, so it's guess how many glue dots Caron is going to use on this project. Oops, not sure what's going on there. Normally I would use a lot, but another tip is being very cognizant and aware of what you already have on your card. So because I have the ribbon, the twine, I have to make sure that when I stick this on here, that I don't have glue dots that'll fall on here, because it'll give it a little bit of a wonky twist. So making sure at this point, normally I would have had glue dots all over dimensionals all in here, but because I see and I know that this is where my ribbon is, I only place my glue dots that they'll fall above and below where the ribbon already is. Okay, that's another tip for you. Okay, now I know this is 4 by 5 1/4, which means I have my card base is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I really don't have a lot of room for the part that's hanging over to hang over here. So I can't put my sentiment right to the edge, because this will be way over on the 4 1/4 card base. So again, that's another thing you have to think about. If you're concerned about it, let's go ahead and put our card base. Okay. Okay. I'm going to add my foam sheets. Again, I don't measure, I just cut. Oh, I love tips. There's so many things. I mean, there's so many techniques that people can use. And just little things that'll make it a little bit easier for some people, a little bit simpler. So any tips that I'm aware of, that I'm able to share, I most definitely will share those tips as well. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and line this up. Make sure this is even here. Add this on our card base. And so now we can see exactly how much overhang we're going to have when we lay this down. So making sure, and we're just going to put this like so. All right. Now, this card took a little bit longer, primarily because I did a lot of explaining. If you were going to work on this card by yourself, at home, wherever you're going to work on it, it probably wouldn't take you as long, okay? So I'm going to share with you another tip, okay? What color do we, I'm going to have our pearls. These are our pearl gems. And I want to put pearls on here, but I don't want to have to go look for pearls that match my colors. So I'm going to go grab my alcohol, my Stampin' blends, and this is the Moody Mauve, the dark, and I'm just going to color them. So I will have perfectly matched glue dots, gems on my cards. That's 2, and then I'm going to need a big one. Okay, and that's it. Grab my Take Your Pick tool. And there are my gems. So another tip for you guys really is that, I mean, if you're budget conscious and you decide, do I always do 3? Yes, it's the rule of odds. So I could have done, you could do, it's the rule of odds. I don't know how else to explain. That's how it was explained to me, that it was the rule of odds. So I would never do an even number. I wouldn't do 4. I would always do 5 or 7 if I was going to do that. I don't always do 3, but I always do odd numbers. Okay? Okay. So that was, as I was saying, if you are budget conscious, get some of the pearls, get some of the gems, and make sure you have your alcohol markers, and then you can always color match your pearls or your gems to whatever you're using. You don't have to buy every single marker or every single embellishment like I do, but you know what I'm saying, right? All right, so let's grab our, because we can't finish. And we're going to finish our envelope. I just randomly stamp the image. And I have a beautiful envelope. And there's our first card, y'all. I do make my envelopes sometimes if I'm making or cards that may be a little bit different size. I will do that. I make my own envelopes for when I make slimline cards, and I do occasionally make my envelopes out of designer paper or pattern paper for my cards. Okay, so there's card number 1. All right, let me just clean up just a little bit, and then we'll get started with card number 2. Now, card number 2 and 3 are basically going to be the same card. I'm just going to try to step it up just a little bit for you to see the basic and then how you can step it up. So we're going to make a now version, and we're going to make a wow version. Now, this card I happened to run across from Jackie Bolheis today, and I like the card. She did her version on a note card. I don't necessarily make note cards, so I'm going to try to take her design, make it mine, of course, and then move on from there. So our card base is going to be 8.5 by 11. Yeah, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That is our card base. Now there's someone else that's viewing, that's lurking there, not saying anything to me, but that's okay. And we're gonna work with, this is a strip of shaded spruce. This is a a 1/2 inch by 5, because this is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. And that's basically all we're going to need for today. We are going to do some masking again. Not a lot, but we are going to do some masking. Now, I need a couple of birthday cards. Actually, I need thank you cards. I need to thank my January shoppers for shopping with me. So I make some thank you cards to bless those that blessed me this month by shopping in my online store. All right. So let's grab our sentiment, and this one says, thank you so much. How perfect, how appropriate when you're wanting to thank your friends or your customers. Just thank you so much. Nothing else needs to be said. Okay, that's crooked. So I already have a challenge with keeping things straight, but sometimes when I'm filming, because I can't get my head right over the image, it tends to my tendency for not being straight increases a whole heck of a lot. So, all right, we are gonna emboss a little bit today. And I don't normally emboss my sentiment. I don't normally do my sentiments first, but because I want to make sure for positioning and alignment purposes, and I'm going to do this twice, that way we can put things away all at once, right? That way, for positioning's sake, we will know exactly where things need to be. Okay, so that's one, and I'm using a brown. This brown might be, say, the equivalent of early espresso. So you can use early espresso. I use VersaFine Clear because the ink takes a lot longer to dry. Therefore, I have much more time to emboss. I'm going to put this kind of like in the bottom. Make sure we have good transfer of ink. Then I'm going to add my embossing powder. And this is clear embossing powder, y'all. Okay. I'm going to stamp the second one. I am researching. Do you guys like foiling? I am wanting to get into foiling, but with my stamps, but I really don't want to buy a foiling machine. So I'm trying to investigate, research how I can do some foiling with my stamps and Versamark ink. I'm trying to see if that can work. So I started Googling a little bit. Again, we're just going to put our sentiment on here. I think I'm crooked, and I think I just smeared that, but I did just a little bit. All right, now I'm just gonna add my embossing powder and then heat emboss. Okay. You haven't heard of foiling? Oh, then we definitely got to play with some foiling here. Guys, if you are joining me tonight, please say hello. And let me extend my gratitude to you for joining me. I know you have your choice of demonstrators you could be watching, other TV programs, other things you could be doing. But the fact that you have chosen to spend your time with me, I am much, much grateful that you have chosen to do so. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That way, and don't forget to click the notification bell. That way, you are notified all the time when I'm getting ready to go live or when I post new content. if you are new to my channel, or if you're returning to my channel, hey, thanks for coming back. And if there's anything you'd like to see me create, please don't hesitate to let me know. I just want to make sure that I am bringing you what it is you're wanting to learn and to know. All right. So we have embossed our sentiments. Now we're going to put everything else away because we're done with this part, I think, I hope. Okay. All right. So for our now card, let's grab, I think we're going to stick with this image. And I am going to switch. Ooh, did I want to stay with? I'm going to use copper clay here. No. I'm going to stick with early espresso. And so what I'm going to do with this guy right here is when I'm creating this, I don't want, I'm again having to be cognizant of where things align. I don't want the stem of this to extend past here. So if I'm going to, so that kind of helps me decide about placement, right? Okay. So that'll be like here. Okay. And that's why I stamped my sentiment first, so I would see how much room I had. Hold on. So I know it can't go past here, right? Because that's where my sentiment begins. So let's see how we need to align this. Right there. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. We're going to do one more. We might need to cut this strip just a little bit bigger to 3/4 of an inch to make it work, and that's what we'll do. Okay. And then we're going to need one this way. So we are going to cut a strip that's about 3/4 of an inch, okay? And so what I'm going to do now is, what did I do with that? I don't know what I did with it. I'm looking for, I think this would work. Oh, this works perfectly. And I'm going to stamp 2 of them. Oh, wait. I think it'll fit. Just fit. Okay, that's 1. And this is 2. Okay. And we're going to use shaded spruce to add our color. This is a 2-step stamp, but I don't want it to be very dark. So I'm going to stamp off, use 2nd generation stamping. to add color. And if you don't know what second generation stamping is, when you have your ink, this is your full strength, so that's your first generation. As you stamp it off and lift some of that color, that's called your second generation, okay? So let's stamp this off, line it up, and we'll have our second generation stamping right there. And I know I'm off. Oh no, I'm perfect. Woohoo! Sometimes I'm guessing because I'm not putting my head where I need, right over it. So I know that I've lined it up perfectly. Alright, so here we go. Let's see if we can do that again. There we go. That's number 2. Oh, almost perfect. Gonna need to do it again. I think I got it. I got it. I was almost dead on right there, y'all. I am cooking with gas today. So I'm going to grab my Wink of Stella again. Now Wink of Stella will darken it, but it also will give it a little bit of bedazzle. Also give it a little bit of razzle dazzle. You need to do using Versamark and okay. Oh yeah, I love two-step stamping. Alright, let that sit for a second and then we're gonna punch that out. And while that's doing that, I'm gonna grab and cut me a piece of, that's about 3/4 of an inch. I know I cut here, that was a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut this to 3/4 of an inch. And that'll be very big. It's a lot bigger than I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. Sometimes we have to make adjustments. So between now and Sunday, I've got to go design my card for, well, between now and Saturday evening, I've got to design my card for Sunday. Yes, I'm one of those procrastinators, y'all. I am definitely a procrastinator. Alright, so let's line this up, and we're going to punch the both of them out while we can. One. And I did 2 of them because we are going to use the other one in our second card, our wow card. There we go. Outstanding. Alright, so done with that. Couple things you can do with this. Oh, I'll do it on, I can't do it on the now because I'm using ribbon for the next one. Let's do this. Let's do a little tone on tone. Add a little bit of texture to our little band. A little bit of detail. So this might be a, no, it's still a now card. So we have now, wow, and holy cow. Those are our categories of cards, y'all. All right. Okay, so a couple things that we're going to do here is, I know this is going to go right here. I'm not going to add any dimensionals to that, but make sure it's lined up. Make sure it's there, there, and there. And this guy, making sure I know how I want this to be, right? Again, glue dots are going to come in handy here, y'all. Because we have a general idea as to where we want this thing to be. But let's add our glue dot. And again, just for layout purposes, making sure we align things. Oops, that's going to be here. Right? We know this guy is going to go right about here. Okay. Okay. So that guy's on. And now, you like how I did that? So because I need a little bit more control, I'm just going to add liquid glue on this part. And we already know where this needs to be. And we know that our punched out piece is going to go exactly where we wanted it to go, because that's where we measured it at. There we go. Now again, Jackie Bolheis was my inspiration for this card, and she did this on a note card, single layer. I don't generally do single note cards. I don't generally work with them, and so I just decided to make this a full card front with this design. Now, keeping in with my shaded spruce, I'm going to go in and cut this to 4 1/4. I'm sorry, 4 by 5 1/4. So we got to cut 5 1/4 this way. And then 4. Now, if this was kind of pre-planned, I would have punched this out, done something with that, with die cut. That way I wouldn't waste the inner panel here. Again, I'm going to trim my foam sheet down. And if you guys watch me on the regular, you will know that I do utilize all of my foam sheets, okay? These little pieces that I cut off, they do not go to waste. All right, y'all. Card number 2 is done. Just about. Okay. Gonna add this to the back to making sure that we have our card, our panel positioned correctly. And we have a card. What are we missing here? We are missing some gems. Trying to find my pearls, because now we are going to create some, I'm not sure where my pearls disappeared to. Oh, I don't need to make any. I have some. Alright, so there's our first card, you guys, our second card, using our Layering Leaves stamp set. Now, we should be able to run through this one fairly quickly. And what I'm going to end up doing with this one, right? Let me grab my, let me grab some Post-it notes. Here's our masking again. Okay. Because I'm using ribbon, right? I don't want, right, here we go. I think that's even. It's not. All right. Let's do it this way. I'm going to be using ribbon. And I just don't want the stem of the leaf to go past a certain point. Okay? Let's clean this off. I'm going to go in. Now, when you have an idea where you're wanting to do things, masking, that's one. That's two. That was purposeful. So you can mask off wherever you don't want an image to be, like I just did. We're going to heat emboss our image. This is all part of wowing this card up a bit, okay? Got that. We know we're going to need this, but I'm going to add something else, you guys. And I have not played with vellum in a very long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut like a little strip here of vellum. This is Stampin' Up! Vellum. And I'm probably going to cut this to maybe about a ½ inch, an inch and a half maybe, or inch and a quarter, because I think that's all we need. I think that'll go through. I think that'll go through. And I'm just going to punch a couple of these out. Yeah, that's perfect. One. Now, if you're wanting to take this up a notch, you could heat emboss in white. Okay. And what did I do with this? I'm just going to go in and I'm going to color this entire thing with my Wink of Stella pen. Quick wash with color. And again, this is the inspiration for this card came from Jackie Bullheis. I saw her do this this card. She did it on a 5x7 or 3.5 by 5 note cards, Stampin' Up's note cards. Let's see. There we go. Now it's about laying these guys out. So our theme for our Sunday shoebox is musical. So I'm really trying to think, what can I do for musical? I know I have some music sheet DS designer paper, some old stuff from Stampin' Up. Just gonna lay these out like that. Okay, so that's gonna be part of the wow factor in the card, just using a little bit of our and then I had this evergreen ribbon, evening evergreen, isn't that pretty, that we're gonna use. And I cut about 6 inches. I know I'm not going to need that, but sometimes it's best to have more than you need than not enough. Okay? Okay. what are you guys thinking about these cards so far? I thought they were fairly quick, very simple. Simple yet elegant. That's what I like to say my style of card making is. Okay. So we have this on here. Doesn't quite look even though. Didn't look even to me, so I have to make sure I redo it. So, it says the person who really can't tell, right? Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little bit glue dot on here. Because now we know, again, where we want this to be, down here. Okay. Just lightly adding a little bit of color around the edges. Adding a touch of color can sometimes be all you need to zhuzh it up a little bit. Okay, here we go. Now, what I'm going to do with this card is I'm not going to mat it at all. If you had to make a musical card, what would you do? I know I have some designer series paper. I know I have a die or two that that could work. So I'm probably gonna do, but my thought process when I'm doing swaps and things of that nature is I want to make it a beautiful card, but I want it to be fairly simple. And there you go. So again, guys, just remember that if there's any other products that you see that I've utilized into nice cards, then you would like to purchase them, please don't hesitate to shop in my online store. When you place an order of $50 or more, especially in the month of February, you will have the opportunity to select one of the free items from Celebration, plus get a free gift with purchase, a $50 purchase from me directly. So here we have, this is our card, you guys. I wanted to use my pearls, but I don't know where I put them. I don't. So I'm just gonna bring these guys back in, huh? 1, 2, 1, want this to be in here somewhere. And 3. All right, so I've given you several options, 3 options, well 2 really, a stepped up and a simple version for a couple of projects using the layering leaves stamp set. Okay? And we shared with you how we cased the catalog to create this card. Alrighty, so if you do happen to create these cards or anything using the layering leaves that you would love to share with me, pop on over to my Facebook page, look for the event that's titled Layering Leaves in the Craft Room, and share what you've created with me using these products. I would love to see your talent and have you share it with me and the rest of my followers. You guys, thanks for joining me tonight. Let me share with you the host code one more time. That way, if you do decide to make a purchase with me, you are able to take advantage of the free gift with purchase option. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. On that note, you guys, thanks for watching and have a happy stamping day.